The gunfires. 9 of the best sprinters on the planet explode out of the blocks inside Japan's National Stadium in Tokyo. 8 of them get a sharper start than the man who is about to win the race. The slowest reaction time in the entire field belongs to Noah Lyles. He leaves the blocks at 0.177 seconds. The 9-man field surges forward together, and for the first 40 meters, Lyles is not at the front. He is finding himself. His back foot placement was off. The start was not there. The sharpness that separates a great start from a good one was missing. And then, right around the 50-meter mark, something shifts. Lyles hit his stride halfway through the race, pulled away from the field, and crossed the line in 9.95 seconds with a wind reading of plus 0.6 meters per second. Behind him, 18-year-old American Tate Taylor finished second in 10.04. British teenager Jake Odie Jordan took third in 10.09. The margin between first and second was 0.09 of a second. In sprinting, that is comfortable. That is not a race that went down to the wire. That is a man with a broken start still winning by a distance that matters. And when it was over, Noah Lyles picked up a microphone and told the sprint world exactly what he thought of the competition. "I hope they go back to practice because Shanghai wasn't impressive," he said, referring to the Diamond League action in China the previous evening. He went on to describe the 9.95 as his third or fourth fastest season opener, with his quickest start to a season being a 9.86. So, it is a really good sign for the rest of the year, and I have been training really well. That is the kind of sentence you only say when you know something the rest of the field does not know yet. When a man describes 9.95 seconds as his third or fourth fastest way to open a season, he is not telling you about today. He is telling you about where the season is going. To understand what that statement actually means, you need to understand who Noah Lyles has built himself into over the last decade. Because this is not a man who stumbled into relevance. This is a man who has dragged track and field into conversations it has not been part of since Usain Bolt retired. Lyles was born in Gainesville, Florida, on July 18, 1997, and grew up in Alexandria, Virginia. Both his parents competed in track and field at Seton Hall University. He started his athletic life as a gymnast, flipping and tumbling before he ever stood in starting blocks. At 12 years old, watching the 2012 Summer Olympics on television, he and his younger brother Josephus declared their intention to run together at the 2016 Games. He did not make it to Rio, but the decision he made instead set up everything that followed. In 2016, rather than accept a scholarship to run for the Florida Gators, Lyles and his brother both turned professional, signing with Adidas. From that moment forward, his career moved in one direction. The path was never smooth. Lyles has spoken openly about managing asthma, dyslexia, attention deficit disorder, anxiety, and depression throughout his career. These are not minor inconveniences. These are conditions that shape how a person experiences pressure, focus, and competition at the highest level. The fact that he has built a career of this magnitude while navigating all of them is a detail that his race times alone cannot communicate. The early promise turned into world-class results quickly. At the 2022 World Championships in Eugene, Oregon, Lyles stormed through the curve of the 200 meters and drove to the line in 19.31 seconds. The time broke Michael Johnson's long-standing American record and made him the third fastest man in history over that distance. But the moment that changed how the world perceived him came in 2023. At the World Championships in Budapest, Lyles completed the sprint triple, winning gold in the 100 meters, the 200 meters, and the 4x100 relay. He was the first man to achieve that treble at a single World Championships since Usain Bolt did it in 2015. Budapest was where he stopped being just a great sprinter and started being the face of the sport. Then came Paris 2024, the race that nobody who watched it will ever forget. Lyles won the 100-meter gold at the Paris Olympics with a new personal best of 9.784 seconds, edging Jamaica's Kishane Thompson by 0.05 of a second. The margin was so small that the race broadcaster on American television initially declared Thompson the winner. It took several minutes for the photo finish to confirm the result. 0.05 of a second. The length of a fingernail. The difference between gold and silver at the most watched athletics event on the planet. And then 2 days later, he ran the 200 meters while secretly fighting COVID-19. Lyles had tested positive 2 days before the 200-meter final. Racing while sick, He won a bronze medal behind Lyles Tebogo and Kenny Bednarik, and was subsequently taken off the track in a wheelchair. He had just become Olympic champion. He was physically ill, and he went back on the track anyway. That moment captured something about Lyles that the times alone cannot measure. He does not remove himself from competition when conditions are imperfect. He competes through imperfection and finds a way to extract something meaningful from it. Which brings us back to Tokyo, May 17, 2026. Before the Golden Grand Prix final, Lyles had not run a competitive 100-meter race since September 2025 at the same national stadium, where he walked away from the World Championships with 2 gold medals and a bronze. The bronze was in the 100 meters, where he clocked 9.89 seconds behind Seville, who won in 9.77, and Keshawn Thompson, who finished second in 9.82. That result matters for the shape of 2026. Lyles does not hold the world 100-meter title right now. He holds the Olympic title and the 200-meter world title. The 100-meter crown went to Seville in Tokyo 2025. That is a detail Lyles is fully aware of, and the way he handled Sunday's race in Tokyo tells you exactly how he is thinking about it. He explained his slow start plainly after the race. "I wasn't really getting a good vibe on my back foot placement," he said. "But sometimes you just gotta say, forget it, don't worry about it. Just run the race and do your best." That explanation is important because it reveals the mechanics of what actually happened. The slow start was not a fitness issue. It was a placement issue, a technical problem from a man whose last 100-meter race was 8 months ago. He identified it in real time, made a decision to stop fighting it, and ran a 9.95. That is not a warning sign. That is a man with enough control over his own racing to diagnose a problem at 40 meters and still win by 9/100ths. He also made the tactical decision to run the heats before the final, rather than bypass them, opening with 10.05 into a 1.1 meter per second headwind. His reasoning was direct. "There is no way I am letting everybody warm up in one round and then come into the final cold," he said. "The more rounds, the faster I get." And that is how a champion thinks about a season opener. Not as a result to protect, but as a tool to build form. He used the heats to warm up properly and then improved by 1/10 in the final. The 2-round structure worked exactly as he planned it. Now look at what is coming on the calendar. His next start is the Diamond League in Rome on June 4th, where he will face former Olympic champion Marcel Jacobs and the rising American star Jordan Anthony. After that comes a 150-meter showdown against Australian prodigy Gout in Ostrava, Czechia on June 16th. Then Paris on June 28th. The Ostrava race is one of the most fascinating fixtures on the calendar right now. Lyles has been mentoring Gout, who broke the world under-20 200-meter record earlier this season. Lyles described Gout as a really good kid who trained with him for 2 weeks ahead of both the 2025 and 2026 seasons. "He absorbs a lot of information and he wants to be the best. He is eager, and that is really good to see," Lyles said. The man mentoring the teenager will now race him over 150 meters in front of a crowd in Ostrava. 2 generations of sprinting on the same track, with the whole world watching to see what form each of them brings.